Coming up ahead tonight on 0800 Tardis Live, we'll be talking about where we found some Doctor Who posters for advertising out on the street. We also will have guest John Predall coming live from Hamilton, and we've got Carrick Nisbet in studio, so let's kick it off. Opening credits. We shared a bit of news on 0800 TARDIS. I'll just bring that up as we see. We'd also definitely like to sit there and say thank you to Television New Zealand for making Doctor Who live straight away, as that's something that I definitely can sit there and say. Now, there were a few things on here. In the news, there's a couple of news bits that possibly aren't 100% New Zealand, but they're definitely worth related. Armageddon Expo, which is happening next Labour weekend up in ASB Showgrounds in Auckland. There has been a celebratory article on New Zealand Herald. One of them says it went from 50 people to 70,000, and show how much how it's grown in size and that sort of thing. And it will show what will be happening, how they started from the Freeman Bay Community Centre to one of the biggest venues in New Zealand, well, for this type of event, and how, you know, Doctor Who is where one of the things have started and that sort of thing. Bill and Adele, you do a fantastic job of what you do every Armageddon, and definitely worth doing it. There's also been a second article on New Zealand Herald. This one I am not actually impressed with, and I'll sit there and make this point. This is also Armageddon related, criticising them on how much they charge for the fees for photos and that sort of thing. As a person who does run a business myself, I understand why charges are like that. Some of it is what the actors themselves or the agents charge and that sort of thing. And a big one was a criticism, I think it was a criticism about the Ultimate Pass standing at about $1,200. I think doing it as an option, they've got to sit there and look at different things and all that sort of thing. The Ultimate Pass is something that they've just started, and I think it's something different. Yes, it is pricey, but it is definitely something worth looking into. We have also, next week, we'll have an interview with Peter Kirkhope, who will talk to us about the Ultimate Pass and the pros about it, because I believe there needs to be some positive light put on this particular ticket, because that was something that was partly criticised, plus also the prices. But, you know, if the agents want to sit there and you know, say, oh, we want, you know, $50 for a photo, that's definitely going to push it up to $60, $70 for that sort of photo and that sort of thing to get the autographs and that sort of thing. And yes, people do sit there and, shall we say, wait for ages for them. I remember that with Jenna Coleman, the queues were going like crazy. She missed half of her panel because of photos. This was back in 2014, quite a few years ago. Now, there has been a few pictures that have been sat there on screen there, and I hope we get our camera person. It's down the bottom where it has Pool 1, 2 and 3. These were pictures taken by Paul and Rochelle Scoons up in Auckland. Now, I'm not sure which one are we on at the moment?
Pool 1.
Pool 1. So this is in Auckland, in Takapuna. This was a bus shelter that had some Doctor Who advertising. And if you go on to, I think it's Pool 2, is a picture of Rochelle standing next to it. And if you go to Pool 3, has Paul standing next to him. Thank you, Paul, for these photos, and they're definitely great. Now, if we go down to the next one on there, this is one taken by me, and I think Carrot can probably relate to this one because it's down the road from your house, which is the one down on Broadway in Wellington. That was me. I was coming back, doing work for Domino's Miramar on the night, and I actually was going along and saw it, so I pulled over and took a picture and a selfie right next door to it, so I thought that's definitely something to share. We will be hunting those down through the period of time for different places around Wellington, so I'll definitely be keen on doing that later in the series. Now, I don't know if there's been any more headroom on it, but that was from last week. There was the what's it called, the one about how they couldn't understand Jodie Whittaker's accent. I don't think there's been any more articles on it, and I have to be honest, I've got no problem listening to it. Now, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to be joined by John Predel, who will be coming to us live from Hamilton, and I'll sit there and try and work out on our stories and some great questions to ask him. So catch us after the break. Welcome back to 0800 Tardis Live here. So we now got John Predel coming here live from Hamilton. So how's John this evening?
John's good. Yep.
So what have you rated about the Jodie Whittaker's second episode, The Ghost Monument?
I'm getting yeah.
Sorry? You hearing us fine or not?
I'm getting a feedback. Okay, I thought it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It's usual for a second second episode. It's
oh, is that because you've got yourself in the picture on there? You want to switch camera onto the camera 1 interview? I'm just thinking, that might actually help a bit better because I can see you're seeing yourself in the picture. It's just the joys of the software is with Skype is it if we have the video editing software going, it broadcasts what you're seeing is what's being broadcasted live. So continuing back where we were talking about the Ghost Monument.
Okay. Yes, an enjoyable episode. It's usually with the new series and new Doctors, the second episode is the one I pay more attention to than the first. But yeah, it was a good fun.
Oh, okay, just losing the voice there. Okay, I think we're both waiting for each other to sit there and say things. So, what do you think about the new Tardis?
Well, we haven't really seen much of it. It looks very similar to the first one that
Sorry, so similar to, was it the first Doctor's TARDIS, or? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, Chris Eccleston, because the crystalline, the way it curves up, the crystalline shape. It looks less mechanical.
Sorry, is that less mechanical from what you're trying to say here?
Less mechanical, yeah. It looks more, what's the word? Biological.
Biological. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
A cross between crystalline and mechanical, which is kind of, I kind of wish they'd gone back to the simple one, Twice Upon a Time. Go
Back to the big round circles.
Yeah.
Yes, no, definitely. I remember seeing in the 50th anniversary, it's like, oh, I remember these, the big round circles. That was something Matt Smith, I think his doctor did. You know, or was it 10th? Oh, sorry. Carrick's correcting me in the background.
Well, we haven't really seen much of it, but I would imagine until we actually see it in flight, we've seen her pull a couple of controls. Where's the scanner? Is there a scanner? And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Does it have other rooms? Is there a wardrobe? Is there a toilet?
Well, I mean, is there the TV show The Chasers studio that you can just sit there and walk into, and there's all the chasers, since that's where Bradley Welsh is originally from.
That's right. Yes, so I'm looking forward to the episode where Bradley comes face to face with the Beast. I'm sure they will.
I wonder if they actually would do an episode where they could get Mark Labette in it. I haven't seen him in acting, but that would definitely. I think he could do quite well doing a villain on Doctor Who.
Well, he could be a Dalek. He could be the new Davros.
The new Davros. Yes, we need to sit there and have a Dalek thing to sit there and what do you call it? Fit someone who's 6'6" or 6'8" or something, because I know he's gigantically tall.
He's almost 7 foot. He's over 7 foot, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of like the tallest people in the world or something. I don't think he is the tallest, but I think he's on that going that weighing scale. But no, yeah, he's known as the Beast.
He could be the new cyber controller.
He's probably. The thing is, I can picture him doing it quite well. Actually, now the other one is, while we're talking on chasers, what do you think about Anne Hegarty? Do you think she could be good as another villain in the background? I know she's famous for quiz shows.
I was going to say she could be the new master.
The new master.
The master quizzer.
The master quizzer. Yeah, well, you know. Yeah, well, that could be a point. I don't know. I still like Michelle Gomez as the as Missy, but I mean, you never know. I mean, you know, once you change to a woman, can you change back to a male or no? As a Time Lord or Time Lady?
Well, you never know. You never know. But I don't think they will because they're not actors.
No,
I mean, Brandon Walsh was. I mean, I kind of vaguely remember him playing the clown in the Sarah Jane Adventures. He was the Pied Piper.
Oh.
Which I haven't revisited since, just to sort of get a bit more familiarity with him.
No, well, I do remember him. This is one that I've said this in other shows. I do remember him being Danny Baldwin in Coronation Street, going back when was it my mum made us all watch it every night.
I never watched Coronation Street. I mean, put it this way: the last time I watched Coronation Street, Ina Sharples was still in it.
God, now that's going back quite a few years because I think she's been long out of this show.
Yeah, Annie Walker and Minnie Caldwell.
Well, we definitely know. Was it? I think what's his name? Ken Barlow is still in it, from what I hear, because he does hold the record for being in the show the longest.
I remember the episode when his wife died, Valerie. She got electrocuted. She plugged in the hairdryer.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay. Great way to be remembered after. I remember. I know that Deirdre being the latest wife. But yeah, she's not around anymore. So now, with coming up, you're heading up to Auckland to Armageddon?
Yes, I should be going up. I don't know.
Will you be working for the, was it the proud Rochelle and Paul Scoons at Retrospace?
I'll be giving him some assistance.
Some assistance. And any, now, who's on your guest card that you want to see at this Armageddon?
Pearl Mackie, but
we know what's happened there.
Well, as is always the case with the Armageddons, I see the guest list and I look at them and I have no idea who they are. But Christina Ricci and Michael Shanks and there was somebody else. I can't remember now. Who's the male guest? Who's?
I'll just have a look on the Armageddon's website.
I don't have the thing to hand, but yeah, Christina Ricci should be interesting.
Yeah, no. Well, looking at the guests, there's Michael Shanks, Nevid Nick. Was it Nick Nigavan? I don't know. I apologise if I say it wrong. Oscar Chol. Jeffrey Vincent Paris, David Hayden-Jones, Drew Powell, Greg, was it Sulkin?
Yeah, Drew Powell from Gotham.
Is that where he's from? Oh, they'll be on a similar show to, what was that, where Sean Pertwee was on. No, it's the same show. Same show, yeah, it's the same show, yeah. There's also Jimmy Wong, who's, I think he's a YouTuber, I don't know. And there's a whole heap of animations guests on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pity that Pearl Mackie has cancelled, although she's cancelled a couple of other shows that she was doing overseas. I think this comes down to work. If they get a job, then they have to cancel these public things.
Yeah, well, we didn't know what she could be in. But yes, you are right. You can sit there and have your guests all booked up, and then suddenly at the last minute, oh hi, we're going to offer you 6 weeks or 12 weeks worth of work, and we're paying you, 50 grand for the work or 100 grand or something. And it's just like, I can't turn that down.
Well, they could earn that by signing autographs over a weekend, couldn't they?
Well, actually, that is definitely a point, yes. They probably could do that, yeah. Let alone, how much would they get for some of the shows? Yeah.
That's the way these things work now. I used to go to conventions all the time, and the guests would sign for free, but as soon as some of the bigger companies started running these events, they have to make some money back on it somehow. So, you know, if people are prepared to line up for hours to get a signature or a photograph, then so be it. It's not something that I do.
No, I have to admit, I tend to personally don't go after autographs, I tend to go for photos, but that's just me.
I just like to sit in on the panels, listen to them and do QAs, although I do get sick and tired of some of the questions they get asked.
Oh yes, I agree with you there, especially like the ones that's what's your favourite cat, or, you know, what's your favourite colour.
What's your favourite monster and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If you could be a different monster in the show, what would you be? You know, all of that sort of stuff.
If you could be William Hartnell, what would you do if...
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, not reality land going to be happening, yeah. Okay, well, thanks for joining us on this lovely Tuesday evening.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about the confusion before. I was getting a weird echo, so...
Oh, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, you know, it's all these things, as you said earlier, you haven't used Skype in years, and, you know, I have to be honest, I haven't used Skype except for this, because I just do Facebook message, you know what I mean. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break now. Well, when the camera gets changed, I hope Alex changes the camera so it's just on me. Yes, wait, okay, that looks right. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be joined by Carrick Nisbet, who's going to talk to us about also his opinion about the show and also the audio series he follows.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, cheers.
Welcome back to 0800 Tardis Live. So now we are joined by Carrick Nisbet. How's it going?
I'm alive.
You're alive. Gee, how boring. Well, what would you prefer to be, live or dead, or in between, a shadow, a ghost?
From what I can tell from various fiction, in between is the worst, so I think I'll stay where I am.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, what we would like to know is what's your opinion on the Ghost Monument?
Well, I really liked it. If I had a problem, I would say is that for a race across a planet which is supposed to have danger around every corner, it didn't really have a great sense of physical danger. And I think the problem is this is the small cast, that you only have 3 guest characters, only 2 of whom are really in it worth a damn. And they all survive, so there's no real
It's
sense.
like the happy fairy tale ending.
Not quite. It's not because obviously Moffat cut his teeth in the Davies era doing stuff like that, where you'd have episodes which are bone-chillingly terrifying, but no one really dies. But Moffat kind of, in those episodes, I mean, like Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, and Empty Child, Dr. Dances, there was still a big sense of physical danger. Like you might have all your flesh eaten off you by carnivorous shadows, or your face might be grotesquely forced into a zombie gas mask shape, and you might be a sort of stammering idiot crying for your mother. There's nothing really like that in here. Like, we have some dangers, like apparently the water is filled with water-based Vashta Narada. I don't know, we don't really see them do anything.
We didn't see them sit there and throw something in it and just go...
Yeah, well, it's like they didn't really have any flesh. It's like, I follow someone on Twitter, he jokingly suggested that we should have had a scene where the Doctor destroys bits of her companion's clothing in order to prove it, like she did when she was Bill Hartnell in The Web Planet, an episode which most people find boring. I actually love it. I say to this person, yes, I know you want to see Yaz and Ryan and with their kit off, but please, no. And no, it turns out he was just amused at the Doctor being destructive of people's property, which she was doing in the last episode when she reformatted Ryan's phone. So, yeah.
Well, yes, we did see that.
Oh, speaking of which, we need to talk about how the 13th Doctor is so far proving to be kind of ruthless and destructive. Like, she's nice as pie, and she has a lovely, cheerful, dorky demeanour, but in her first episode, she fucking murdered Tim Shaw. Like, I think we can agree that. She pulled a McCoy on him and tricked him into killing himself. And then in this episode, she doesn't do anything like that, but she did paralyze Ipso.
Oh, yes, I do remember
it's
that.
Like, just to get him to shut up. Like, he wasn't even being a physical danger at the time. He was just being annoying, so she paralyzes him.
Well, John Pertwee did the same thing.
But he was actually being attacked by a guy with a wrench when he paralyzed him. Like,
actually, that is true, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and again, it was a reference to obviously John Pertwee being the Honest Trailers did a couple of bits and referred to him as the martial artist Austin Powers Doctor, which I think is harsh but fair. And yeah, I love references like that. In fact, you want me to talk about the audios. We're going to get a short trip next year where we're going to find out how the Doctor learned Venusian Aikido, because that's such a continuity gap that really needed to be filled.
Now, as a proud Wellingtonian, do you believe we need to have the Beehive turned into a Dalek headquarters for one episode, and basically Attack of the Beehive or something where the Daleks are basically trying to infiltrate the Beehive?
Well, I would kill for a Doctor Who episode set in New Zealand, mostly because I want to have the big joke being, why the hell would aliens attack New Zealand?
Well, exactly, but you never know. I mean,
I don't know. Set it in like the 51st century, where New Zealand has become a world power,
and still somehow has the Beehive as their headquarters.
Yeah, like why not? Like in the Doctor Who universe, by the 51st century, the Filipinos are a major world power, and so's Iceland.
Yeah, well...
No, really, if it's a great line, I was there with the Filipino army at the final assault on Reykjavik.
Well, when they had the Water of Mars episode, they sat there and, she was like going for that. Oh, you went the, the Philippines. Oh, they've been trying to sit and get to Mars for a while, and listed off different countries. Oh, you're not the such and such family trust? Yeah.
I actually like moments of Little World like that. But back on the Ghost moment, I was talking about physical danger and how the Doctor is kind of proving out to be more ruthless than we perhaps, despite her cheery demeanour. And I kind of want to talk about the new TARDIS, because this was another thing I saw on Twitter. This guy, he doesn't really like the new TARDIS. He thinks it looks like a villain's TARDIS. It's all gunmetal and low lighting. I heard someone say it looks a bit like the Rani's TARDIS, which, if anyone wants to see the Rani's TARDIS, watch Mark of the Rani. It's a hilarious Time Lord bitch fest.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, that was the one that had both the Master and the Rani.
It's the Doctor, the Master, and the Rani, and there's no real plot. They're basically all just trying to out-connive each other. Like, the Master is forcing the Rani to go along with stuff, and she does not want to be doing this because she thinks the Doctor and the Master are stupid, and... But then he starts going, why don't you change history? And it's like a naughty schoolboy trying to persuade the very smart kid to go along, and she's going, It's basically three Time Lords being bitchy to each other for 90 minutes. I love it. But the Rani's TARDIS in that is an awesome TARDIS. It's this giant stone cathedral. Like, for the production values back then, it looks great.
Well, yeah, because they used to do things on a shoestring budget back then.
Hell, it looks infinitely better than the Doctor's TARDIS of the same era. Hell, even the Master's TARDIS looked better than the Doctor's TARDIS.
The Master's one used to be was it a pillar?
And the Master, I mean the interior. And the Master's TARDIS thing was just the Doctor's TARDIS painted black. It still looked better, because they had a thing for that overlit white game show studio thing.
I wonder if it's production value.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, I don't know. They had, I think it was because on my favourite classic console, apart from the Paul McGann one, that's the best easily, is Tom Baker got a wooden one for like one season in the Hinchcliffe era, and it was all gothic and moody, and I loved it, but sadly the wood warped between seasons, so they couldn't use it anymore. That was a bit sad.
Oh, yes, I do remember that, actually. Yeah.
That was sad, but on this new TARDIS console, as pointed out, as this person who didn't like it pointed out, he said, well, the new series TARDISes seem to kind of reflect the personality of the Doctor that inhabits them. In which case, this probably means that 13 is secretly not a very nice person, but it's like, from what I've seen, no, she is not very nice.
So it sounds like the...
Like, she's very nice to her friends, but she is, pretty brutal to her enemies, or, as poor Epso discovered, just to men that happen to annoy her. And she will paralyze you while grinning inanely, so, yeah.
Oh, yes, no, definitely. No, I
love it, by the way.
Shows a very different side of the Doctor.
I don't know, it's a side we've seen before. It's just that she's so smiley and cheerful while she does it. Like, we've had the Doctor being dark and moody and ruthless before, but never quite this happily. There's almost glee in it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, we're going to have to make a move because we're running out of time.
Oh, you mean I tend to go on? Who would have thought?
Oh, typical, yeah. So you'll be definitely keen to come back for another show?
At some point, yeah. I do want to come to talk about Alan Cumming as King James I and VI, because that is the most...
Oh, now the other one. I did see in there, Chris Knopf's going to appear in there, because those two, Chris Knopf, Good Wife.
It's weird. My mother actually pointed that out, and I just went, "Who's he?" And she was, "Oh, he was on Sex and the City." And I said,
"Oh, yeah, he was on The Good Wife as well." And because he was worked alongside Alan Cummings as well on The Good Wife. So
yes, Alan Cummings spends a lot of time pretending to be American, doesn't he?
Wow, isn't he dual citizen?
I think he lives in New York. I think his husband's American or something.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
He was the one who sit there and says he's openly bisexual, and he's done it with wife, now he's trying to do it with husband.
Oh yeah, he's very camp, very queer, and very Scottish, and he's going to be playing a king who was also very camp, very queer, and very Scottish. So that's why it's perfect casting, and I want to be here to talk about that.
Well, we definitely should square that in for the next time he's screening on Doctor Who. You can take the seat right back where you are right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us here on 0800 TARDIS Live. I hope I'm on the right camera. Yes, okay, yeah. So thanks for joining us here. We'll be back here at the same time next week. And also, remember, if you're in New Zealand, you can watch TVNZ on demand. That should be the only way you're watching it, because TVNZ, they have come to the party on it, and they've given it to you right now. So watch it right here, live in New Zealand. You can also join us next week with Peter Kirkhope, who will talk about the Armageddon Ultimate Pass and his experience at Armageddon. And we'll see who other guests we can sit there and fit in. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And ready for the closing?